Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I just want to talk about 7 mental health benefits that you will experience after you quit drinking alcohol. It's just something that I couldn't have dreamed of, just having such a clear and focused mind when I quit alcohol. And before I go into the 7, it would be great if you could just like and subscribe the video. It really helps the channel. The first mental health benefit is no anxiety, and I think, and from reading a lot of the comments on YouTube and watching many videos before, anxiety is probably the worst thing that we all suffer. I mean, the second time I ended up going alcohol free, I quit between 2017 2022. Unfortunately got back on it, thought I could moderate, and then before you knew it I was back into bad habits of binge drinking at the weekend, and now I'm thankfully alcohol free. But the second time I quit alcohol, it was basically just due to the worst anxiety I've ever had, and I was just fed up of it. And it's really just an annoying part of drinking alcohol. I can't even remember, can't even count, sorry, how many times I woke up after a Saturday night out or a Friday and Saturday night out, and you're just worrying about nothing the whole day. And it could sometimes last a good couple of days, and the whole Sunday is ruined by just worrying about nothing, or worrying about worrying. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And thankfully that pretty much goes in the first few days, I would say. It doesn't completely go, but it does kind of subside after a week, and then before you know it, once you've got your life back on track, it's completely gone. The second benefit is your mood. Thankfully, my moods were never really up and down, but they could definitely go up and down like everyone else's. They wouldn't be highs and lows, but you do actually start to just feel this consistent mood every day. And I think that's due to a lot of factors, but one of the main factors is that you're a lot more in control of your life now. You've not got these kind of as many issues, I guess. And I think as well, after the first couple of months, you need to remember that it's not only you that's going through this alcohol journey, it's also the people around you, family members, people you live with. And once a couple of months starts to pass, and I think even after the first couple of weeks, you just realize that you have this steady mood. You can really cope with things better. There's no highs and lows. um, Again, depending how much you drink, of course, but I think if you're just a binge drinker, it really subsides quite quickly, and you'll find yourself with this consistent mood, which is just a lovely thing to have. No one wants to wake up in the morning and you've just gotten out of the wrong side of the bed, so to speak, and it doesn't help you, doesn't help your family either. The third one is just a greater emotional resilience. I think being able to deal with issues is just such a great thing. And, it doesn't need to just be in your personal life, it can be in your work life as well. There's just a lot going on at home, at work, and you're just able to cope with stuff. And I think that's, you do get a lot of lessons learned from the first few months of your journey, just coping mechanisms. And it's just a great feeling to not just have these highs and lows again on the emotional scale. Maybe your boss or a colleague has a go at you at work, maybe somebody in your house, your family has a go at you for some reason, and you're just really able to kind of deal with it, and you're not kind of keeping it inside and just letting it stew and then go and wait, have a beer. You're actually dealing with these issues, and I think having that emotional resilience there just helps reduce all the stresses and anxieties that you'll normally be going through. The fourth one is just more confidence. And it's a great feeling once you've actually got all your affairs in order and you're a few months down the line. You've started to save money, you're getting good sleeps, you're getting a bit fitter, your diet's improving. You're now kind of known as the non-drinker, who's reliable, always turns up on time, and is never off work, gets things done around the house. And just that confidence in you and self-esteem is just something that's amazing. There's nothing better than just waking up in the morning or going to bed at night and you've absolutely smashed the day, you've smashed the week, and you do get a bit of pride in yourself. And it is a nice feeling, like I say, to wake up in the morning and just like have a bit of pride in your life. The fifth one is just around thinking, and mainly around strategic thinking. I remember when normally I would be out every Friday, Saturday night normally, or maybe just a Saturday night, and then maybe a few beers on the Sunday if people were going out to the pub. But I'd rarely drink on a school night. But I think a lot of the time you're just on maybe the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're just kind of dealing with the issues and the over anxiety, and you've got this really, really day to day thinking, oh, I can't wait to get to the end of this day, and this day is going to be so long. But you really do get a mind shift when you stop drinking alcohol. What tends to happen is you really start to think strategic. Where am I going to be in a month's time? Where am I going to be in a year, 5 years? And I remember quite quickly I was, started upping my pension, for example. I started thinking about courses I was going to do, where I would be in a year. I wanted to kind of start my master's degree as well and finally get that finished, which I hadn't done previously because I would always do a bit and then couldn't be bothered, the usual. And that thinking is just absolutely so beneficial to you. You'll start maybe coming up with plans to pay off your car quicker, pay off your mortgage quicker, and that kind of strategic thinking is just, I think once you're getting to later on in life, you'll really thank yourself that you made this kind of more strategic thinking rather than how you're going to cope with your hangover and get through the day. The sixth one is brain fog, and with the removal of brain fog, it just opens up so many avenues and opportunities, and it's kind of linked to a lot of the other mental health benefits. But just having no brain fog, or can't be arthritis, can't be botherditis as we kind of call it here, it just opens up your mind to everything. Now you've got energy and drive. Now you've got that strategic thinking. You're kind of not just looking at this week and, oh, I can't believe I went out again. I can't believe I spent that much money. And you really become this machine who just kind of get things done. And I think there's nothing worse than that lethargic feeling when you're sitting on your couch and there's a lot to do and you just really can't be bothered. You're maybe getting opportunities to do things, or additional work to kind of help you get promoted, or you want to maybe start up a business or a side hustle, but you just don't have it in you to kind of get that oomph to kind of seize the day. But with the brain fog lifting, it's just really, really incredible. And I just think there's not a better feeling when you get out of the shower in the morning and you have a coffee or breakfast and your brain's so clear and focused on what you need to do that day, that week, and you've got the energy with it, and it's just truly remarkable thing. And it's probably one of the biggest things, the biggest benefits mental health wise, along with the anxiety for me. And finally, number 7 is, I think it's just a kind of big one that I don't really hear a lot of people speaking about, and that's just a sense of purpose. I mean, as I say, as the non-drinker now, once your brain's actually focused and you've got out of that habitual behaviour of boozing, and like for me, I don't even think about alcohol at all anymore. It's just a hobby I used to do, and just having that sense of purpose where you've taken on all these additional tasks, you've taken on all these additional goals in your life, and you're just smashing it all the time. You're ticking boxes at the end of the day, at the end of the week, you're looking back and ticking all these boxes, got this done, got that done, got this done. And it just makes you enjoy everything else better in your life. And I think one way to get a close comparison to it is, I'm pretty sure most people have been, after working a significant amount of time, have found themselves out of work, whether through redundancy or they've quit their job. And I think one of the biggest things you would miss is that sense of purpose. Nobody's relying on you anymore, because you're not working. There's nothing really to get up for at the end of the week. You've not really ticked many boxes. Didn't really do much, and I think that really, really hammers people. And I've talked to a lot of people about that, and I think that's what happens when people become unemployed. And the same kind of thing happens when you quit drinking. You just, like I say, you have all these people now dependent on you, not only family, but you've maybe taken extra commitments, extra volunteer work, for example. You've got friends that you meet every weekend that you go hill walking with, and you've just become this kind of valuable member of society and a valuable member of people's lives. And I think that having that sense of purpose when you open your eyes in the morning and when you go to sleep at night, it's just a complete life changer, and just really gives you a kind of zest for life again that you might have been missing in the past. Well, please like and subscribe if you like this like the video, and I've got loads of other videos in my playlist if you like them. I'm sure a few will pop up on the screens here. But see you next time, and have a good one. Bye.